Hello everyone, it's that time of year again for our top 10, our favorites of the year. We did movies, books, and this will be video games. And starting with, I only have 7 this year, you have 10, so we'll do your first few before we get into mine.
So this year, I did something bad that
I think it's very good.
I think it's very smart for me.
Yeah.
I think unless you have like a crazy disposable income, it's unfortunately something that practically just has to be done because I don't like digital things, but I got not a streaming service. What is it called?
Yeah, the PlayStation
Plus.
Like, yeah.
I got the middle tier, so I have the essential, the 3 extra games you get every month, and then I get a bunch of, there's like a library. If you have that and you know of anything good, let me know, because I'm always looking for something good. It was a hard decision for me because I really like having physical games and supporting indie creators, but it's so expensive to buy.
I think for you it was a good choice because a lot of the games that you like are like $60, $70, sometimes $80 to get, and then they're like 4 or 5 hours long, and sometimes you didn't like them and you're like, but I feel like I have to finish it because I spent this money, and so instead I feel like this is a good way of getting to play the games that you like, and then if you really do like it, then we go and buy the physical. I think so. For you it makes a lot of sense. I'm really happy. So you played a lot of games.
Yeah, I did play a lot of games this year. I played more than 10 because I played a lot of indie games.
Yeah, but that made much more sense for you,
and I
because
think
instead of
for
spending
me,
$60 and then I didn't even like it versus trying it first.
Yes, and I think I've come to terms with the idea of doing digital things. But it was a very big transition for me because it's not physically there, so it was kind of weird. But my number 10 was one that I wanted to play for a really, really long time, and it's so stupid, and I would never pay like a lot of money to play this, and it costs like way more than I would pay for it, but it's called Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, yeah, that's a good example of like...
I think it should be called Jerk Goose. It was such a great game, but like, again...
Yeah, is that worth...
Is it really worth paying full price
cost
for...
of like an RPG, like for a silly goose game? Like,
but it's really funny game, and just like a little fun game. I think I played it in like two sittings.
Yeah.
Super fun. I played the whole way through, and I had a great time. It was a fun game. And my number 9 is one of the last games I got physically that was like pre-order. Or no, I didn't pre-order this. This was one that's been out for a while, but I found a good deal on it because I've wanted it for a while, and it's inappropriate.
What?
It's called...
Oh, yeah, this thing.
Perky Little Things. I can't show you any more than this.
I didn't remember that you played it this year.
I can't show you any more than this because it's super inappropriate, but it's really, really funny. It's just like a puzzle game. It's like
it's like dirty pop culture Mad Libs.
But it's really funny, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I just had a really good time. But this was retailing for a lot of money. I just happened to find a really good deal, but this is the same thing. Like I would buy this digitally, not buy this, but I would play this digitally. But it's a really funny game, and I'm glad I waited and paid what I did for it. But at the same time, now I'm glad that I have digital things. My number 8. Am I in 8?
Yes.
My number 8 was another free game from PlayStation Plus. It was Sword of the Seas.
Oh yeah, I watched you play most of that. I feel like
super fun. It's like kind of like a Tony Hawk game, but you're on a sword instead of. And it was definitely lacking in story, but it's something I would have pre-ordered and paid a lot of money for probably.
It had beautiful like atmosphere and music. I was watching it play, and it was fun. But it was again like a few hours.
If it was like double the amount of time and had more of a story, it would be amazing. But.
So you're number 8?
Yep.
So my number 7 is a game that was very disappointing, even though there were good parts in it, because we were waiting for years to play this. Black Myth Wukong. Now, I'm not a fan of Souls-like games at all.
I found out I'm not
I was like, I'll give this a chance, though, because it feels like something a little different. I really wanted to see from this Chinese developer. I was really interested in how they're going to utilize that mythology. And like, even though I know I don't like the gameplay style, I can make my way through it because of the other things I like so much about it. But I just, the style of game that it is, that's not for me at all, and that made me not like it at all, because it was a beautiful game. I loved what they did within that concept and that style of game, but it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me at all. Like, it wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't to my
That was
taste in any
probably
way.
the most disappointing thing because
Yeah, it wasn't.
we pre-ordered it. We were so excited.
Yeah, waiting for years.
And
yeah.
I have never played a Soul-like game before, and I didn't know. And I've had people, like, I had friends tell me, like, don't
You're
get
not
this,
gonna like
you're
it.
not gonna
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
And I was like, I'll muscle my way through.
Yeah.
If I really like something, I can muscle my way
This
through.
wasn't my kind
And
of
I
game.
played so many hours,
Yeah.
more than you, and I got nowhere. And
Yeah.
I was so upset.
Yeah.
So no Souls-like games
Yeah.
for me.
So.
My number 7 this was the game that the last game I had pre-ordered, that I got right before we got the PlayStation Plus, and it's called Neva for the Switch. It is a beautiful puppy game, and I really liked it. It was very atmospheric, very very pretty. It's about grief and moving on and rebirth, and it was beautiful, but it was just such a short game. It had some problems, and I paid way more than I should have for it, and I was sad. But good game.
My number 6 you have over there.
What do I have? Oh,
The remake of Destroy All Humans. I played the original on the PlayStation 2, and both of them. And it was one of those games where it's like, yeah, I remember enjoying it. It wasn't like a favorite game of mine, but I remember playing it, and I think my little brother played more than I did. And I had fun with it. It's just not really, it wasn't like a favorite game. It was fun, it was a good sense of humor, but it just wasn't like, it was something that was fun for a couple of afternoons on the weekend kind of thing. So I enjoyed it, but just wasn't like a favorite, but it was fun.
my number 6 is also
Oh, really?
Destroy All Humans. I really like this game. I've never played it before. It was very funny. I enjoyed it very much. I got like all the way to the end. I didn't like 100% it or anything, but it was just a fun game. Just a fun little game. And I'm glad I played it.
My number 5 is one I've been meaning to play for a while, the PS4 remake of Secret of Mana, one that you gave me at some point, and I just...
Did I?
Yeah, at some point, because you also gave me the collection, which I prefer, on the Switch of the original version.
That's right.
And so I really like the original version. I'm like, I want to try this remake, and I just didn't really like it, the remake. I mean, I liked it enough to where it beat out a few other games just because some of the stuff was, the story, the music and everything was still there, but I hated the new art style versus the original kind of like pixel
weird.
look. It just didn't look, it looked cheap. It didn't, because you can redo those. That's one, if it had been more like the HD 2D, it might have worked better. But this weird shift to the 3D art style, I didn't like. I feel like the gameplay didn't translate as well as I wanted it to. Then I went ahead and replayed the original version on that Switch collection, that Mana collection, and realized, it was like, wow, I really like this so much more. Like, I just really was not as into the remake. So it has some of those good elements, but I feel like it doesn't live up to the original.
That's sad.
Yeah.
My number 5 is a platformer, which I didn't have very many platformers.
Yeah, surprising this year. Usually that's most of your list.
This is another free one. It's called A Hat in Time. I really enjoyed it. It was just like a fun platformer. Platformers, like, it's just like a comforting thing. They're not like super serious. It's not like oh my gosh, masterpiece, but just a fun, like, comforting game. And that was this. It was a nice game. I enjoyed it. I put a lot of hours in it.
My number 4 is a remake of a PS2 game that I thought was awesome, but we really hope we get the second one, because the second one I have not played. But we have Mystery of the Soulless Army, with the Devil Summoner, first of the Devil Summoner games on the PS2, the previous ones. But I had a lot of fun with this, and I thought overall it was a superior experience to the original. I think there were some visual downgrades. I feel like visually I like the look of the original more, but I feel like some of the quality of life changes here, and enemies being more present on the screen rather than more random encounters, little things here and there that were updated, that it made it, I think, just more fun, more fluid of an experience to play through. So despite like one or two things that are better with the original version, this was a lot of fun. It was great, and I'm really hoping to get the second one, because again, I haven't really played that one. I'm hoping then that leads to Digital Devil Saga, the duology. But yeah, this was great to be able to get a re-release of a PlayStation 2 game, especially one that goes for a lot of money now in comparison to how much this, and to actually see some, what I think are real improvements, even though there were a few downgrades overall. I just thought this was fantastic. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see. I want to see classic games come back with a few kind of quality of life improvements, whether that's a save anywhere versus having to go to save points, or little things here or there, or kind of options to tailor the experience to how you want to play it. I think that's what this did really well.
Yeah, you had a lot of fun playing that. My number 4 is another game I had on PlayStation Plus, because most of these I feel like are PlayStation Plus. It's another platformer. It's Sackboy.
Yeah.
I really, really liked this one. This one was great. I have never played a Sackboy game, and this was just, he's so cute. And he's so, I don't know, I really liked it. And we played a little bit of 2-player, which Stefan doesn't like to do because he doesn't like the platformers.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. But that was really cool. And with someone who likes platformers, I think that could be really fun to play through the whole thing together.
Yeah.
But really fun game, very funny, and again, just like a nice platformer, and I think a little bit more solid than Hat in Time.
My number 3 is kind of a weird one because it's still the opposite, where it's a remaster that, what did they remaster? But Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, PS4. I've been wanting to play this version for a while. I played the game originally on the PlayStation 3 and loved it. It's one of my top 50 games ever. It was great. They didn't really do much with this remaster. There's like very little difference, no new content or anything, but it made it on here just because I've played so few games this year, and it's such a good game that it was the third best game that I played this year. Because it's just such a great classic. Ni no Kuni 2 I found to be very disappointing, but this one, in replaying it, it holds up. It still has a lot of that Ghibli charm, a lot of what makes level 5 game great, all kind of mixed together in a solid RPG.
My number 3 is a game I've wanted to play for a really long time. This is an indie game. And again, it was kind of like, it's the creators of Niva. And it's a really short game, and it's an indie game. And I just never found it super cheap, so I never got it. But it was free on PlayStation Plus, so I was finally able to play it, and it was Gris. And this is such a beautiful game, and I would have loved if it was longer. It's one of those things with the biggest problem with indie games is that, like, it either falls apart in the third act because they run out of money or time, or it just is way too short. And this was way too short, but it was so beautiful, and I loved it. And it's about grief and the different stages of grief, and it has the different colors for different stages, and it's so beautiful and so well done, and I loved it. And this is one that I might end up getting if I find it cheap enough.
Speaking of grief, sometimes the way you deal with grief is by going on a crazy pirate adventure to try and find a mythical cure for your best friend / obsessive boyfriend. In Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. This was so fun.
So stupid.
I was like cracking up through most of this game, even though it's still then, especially towards the ending, had some really good, like, unexpected emotional moments. It was just fun. This is such a great.
That, though.
This is the most. The Yakuza and Like a Dragon franchise has like these extreme moments where especially some of the older ones, where it's very focused on the melodrama, and then it's that mixed in with mini games that focus on the silly, and then there's some games that focus more on the melodrama, and other ones are more on the silly. This is, I think, the greatest example of focusing just on the silly versus The Man Who Erased His Name. Like the Kiryu Gaiden was much more on like the melodrama. Like I was crying during that game.
I know you were.
Here, I was laughing. Like
yes.
I was crying because I was laughing so hard. It is so much fun. The pirate element stuff was better than most pirate games I've played. And this was like a side game, but the customizations of your ship, the ship battles, sailing around the world, it was so fun. The songs, it was so over the top and zany and silly that it's the silliest game in the franchise. But if you appreciate that part of the franchise, it's great. This was like some of the most fun I've ever had with the game. Like it was a blast, and I really just want to like replay it because it was so much fun. It was great, and they did such a good job of utilizing stuff from previous games. They always do this, but building off the Hawaii setting and stuff, and really kind of giving it like a new look, and it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun.
Well, and you think they're probably going to use some of that in the new one?
I think a lot of the remake of 3, they're going to utilize assets from the Hawaii setting from Infinite Wealth to kind of help build that. I think they're going to use it a lot. But that was just great.
My number 2 is one I have physically, although I had to import it.
Yes.
I think this was a Play Asia.
Yeah.
This is Fantasy Life, A Girl Who Steals Time. It's really fun. I loved the original Fantasy Life. This just builds upon it and goes just a little bit further. I think I like just about every element that they add to this. This is a lot bigger, and it's just so well done. And I love all the different casts and You can spend so much time. That's the only problem with it is you sink so many hours into it, and then you're like, what am I doing with my life? This is not real. But it's so beautiful and so well done, and just like a whimsical little tale. And you can put a lot more hours into it than you realize, but yeah, I liked it a lot. Not for you.
Speaking of sinking hours, the reason why I only played 7 games this year, even though I feel like I've played a lot of video games this year, because most of it was in here. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
What a shock.
I've talked about this ad nauseum, so I won't talk about it a lot, but the original on the Wii U was my second favorite game of all time. And this version is my second favorite game of all time because they somehow managed to, they fixed a few problems that they had. Something with the user interface was better, like little things here and there. The new characters they added actually were fun and more side quests, and they made
you really need more side
quests. But they made like
quests.
little improvements, and then adding that extra chapter at the end to kind of wrap things up / kind of open it to potential for a sequel, but at least give more closure than what we had originally with that cliffhanger ending the original. I mean, this is just some of the most fun I've ever had. This is like one of the best video games ever. There's still a couple little issues with it overall, but it's just such a blast. And this is my favorite video game world that I've ever done. That's the biggest thing. Exploring Mira is just beautiful. So this is easily by far my number one of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
That was shocking. That was shocking.
Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close.
My number one is a game that I gave to my brother. It was a PlayStation Plus game, and I feel like this is like the whole reason I got the PlayStation Plus was for games like this. That just like, they're such good games, but I probably wouldn't have bought this game. But having like the experience of it, like I am looking out for it. It's a Plucky Squire. Such a unique game. I love the gameplay. You watched a lot of it.
Yeah, I watched you play a bunch of it. Yeah.
And it's so creative, and it's like a 2-dimensional game. And you're playing inside of a book, and the pages turn, and sometimes you go out of the pages, and so you're on like in like a child's room, and it's such a beautiful experience, and it's perfect as far as pacing goes, which I feel like doesn't always happen, especially in indie games. I feel like it's just everything about it is just like whimsical and fun, and just like it's not trying to be like an epic adventure Xenoblade. Like it doesn't try to be that. It's like a nice little story, and you can tell the people that made it have so much passion for what they're doing and really cared about it, and that's what I like, and I want to support indie creators like that, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
So those were our favorite games of the year. I'd love to hear what your favorite games you played in 2025 are.
And suggestions.
Yes, suggestions based on what we like, and what are you looking forward to in 2026.